Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. 4:07 a.m. It is Saturday, April the 5th. I'm not kidding. It's 4:07 a.m. And welcome to the weekend. I hope you're having a great day today. I'm looking forward to it. We're expecting some nicer weather here in Calgary. And just a heads up, I'm getting close to 25,000 subscribers. If you click right there, maybe we'll get there by the end of the weekend. So I noticed something. Maybe you noticed this as well. I don't know whether other presenters on YouTube notice this. I don't get to see everybody, but I watched a few of them last night, and I don't think they caught the subtle shift by Mark Carney in his campaign last night. At least that's the way I feel things went yesterday. His campaign has been about fear. I did a video on this the other day, fear of Donald Trump and tariffs, and people buy it. This is why they're voting for the Liberal Party after 10 years of dysfunction. I was going to call this video, and I still might, haven't made up my mind yet, Carney Canadians manipulated morons, okay? Because they're easily manipulated. They're easily led. They're very liberal. They have a very liberal mindset, and I think a lot of Canadians do. They think emotionally and not logically like you because you're a conservative. But the messaging has changed. A couple of things happened yesterday. I'll get to the most significant one in a moment, but I really noticed it when I heard him say this yesterday.
We believe in international cooperation. We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. And if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will.
The subtle shift in just a moment. But he says if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will. What are we going to lead in? This plays out great with the morons. Here's Dean Blundell. Mark Carney just declared the end of America's global leadership. What? Can you do that? What are we going to lead on? Lead our way to the bottom when it comes to GDP? Lead our way to worse healthcare year after year, and it costs more and more and more? Lead our way to low income? We're doing those things right now. No, lead our way to Europe. That's who he wants to trade with.
We will need to pivot our trade relationships elsewhere. And we will need to do things previously thought impossible at speeds we haven't seen in generations.
But he also says in there, we believe in global trade, speaking on behalf of Canadians. He speaks for you now. I used to hate when Jack Layton did that. Canadians believe, Canada believes, Canadians want. He never asked me. I didn't believe in anything Jack Layton believed in. But he wants to be, and this is the subtle shift, a defender of Canadiana now. That was the first little bit, but you know what's coming now, because yesterday he really leaned in on this one. And he brought up one of Pierre Poilievre's biggest targets, and he wants to keep funding it using your money.
His attack on CBC is an attack directly on Radio-Canada, and it is an attack on our Canadian identity. If elected, my government will take action to enshrine and protect and strengthen CBC Radio-Canada for generations to come. We will not only increase CBC Radio-Canada's funding by $150 million, but we will also make this funding statutory, meaning that Parliament as a whole will need to approve any future changes to its funding, not just the Cabinet.
An attack on the CBC is an attack on the Canadian identity. So now Mark Carney has shifted a little bit. He's now the defender of Canadiana. Not only that, he's going to do it with your money. More of your money. $1.4 billion right now to the CBC, another $150 million, so about another 10%. There's going to be more of that down the road. And not only that, they're going to make this statutory, meaning when the Liberals get in, if they get a majority, this will be one of the first things they'll pass. You'll never get rid of the CBC if they get back in again. And it's one of the things Poilievre's been running on. When I was at Spruce Meadows a couple of years back when he was running for the leadership, one of the biggest cheers he got was they're going to defund the CBC. And this is a bribe. You know, during an election campaign, promising more money to the propaganda wing of the Liberal Party, this is a bribe. And if he's doing this with the CBC, he's going to do this with the rest of the media as well, who are bought and paid for by the Liberal Party of Canada. We can't have this. I don't like the CBC. Do they define your identity as a Canadian? The argument has always been for the CBC is that we need the CBC because there are communities in the country that don't get regular service when it comes to media. So we have to beam a signal to them through the radio or on TV so they can get a Canadian message and get the news. Is that the case anymore? And should it be my responsibility to pay for media somewhere way up in the north for a few hundred or thousand people? No, I don't want to pay that money for it. And we have these things right here now where most people get their messages and their information. I'm on the internet here. I don't even have cable. Yeah, I use the CBC as a source sometimes. I pay for it. Why the hell not? But when it's gone, I won't miss it at all. I was thinking of a quote I mentioned the other day. I'm a great believer in quotes. I like quotes. Here's one from Thomas Jefferson. To compel a man to furnish funds for the propagation of ideas he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. Lauren Gunter did a great video on this. I remembered this morning when I was thinking about doing this video. And this is about a year ago, and this is what he had to say about the CBC.
I think the CBC needs to be defunded. It's arrogant. It's out of touch. It's left-wing. And yet all of us have to kick in money every time we pay our taxes to fund the $1.4 billion annual subsidy that the CBC gets from Ottawa. $1.4 billion a year to fund the CBC to tell us, particularly those of us who lean conservative, that we're wrong about everything, that we're ignorant, that we're racist, that we're homophobic, that we aren't worthy of being Canadian.
Gunter's absolutely right, but if you tell people you think the CBC is biased and it doesn't speak for conservatives, they tell you you're a conspiracy theorist. And they'll also tell you that all of the media in the country is right-wing, yet it leans left because it's all paid for, bought and paid for by the Liberal Party. Look at their numbers, and Carney wants to spend more money on this. Here are some numbers. On ratings, according to its latest third quarter report, the network holds just a 2.1% share of national primetime viewers, meaning 97.9% of Canadians choose not to watch CBC's English language primetime news programming. Despite this, the CBC described its performance as a success, claiming it continues to track above its target of 1.7%. In 2018, the network held a 7.6% share of the national primetime viewing audience, marking a 72% drop in just 6 years. Since 2015, with all of this failure, again, Carney wants to fund this and make it statutory funding. They have given out $229 million in bonuses for failure. He is going to become Captain Canadiana, sticking up for all things Canadian before the election on the 28th. Again, he can't ride Donald Trump all the way there because Trump is being rather quiet right now. What could that mean? I don't know. Beaver tails for everybody, a free pair of ice hockey skates when you're born? I don't know. But how about things like rolling out tax breaks for all Canadian businesses? It would be the stupidest thing ever because you want to encourage business to come here and you can't have that kind of a tax system. But floating that out in an election for a Liberal, I can imagine that happening. Interest-free loans if you want to open a business, if you're a Canadian only. I don't know. But expect more of this kind of stuff before the election. He can promise anything and people will believe it. And he's sticking up for Canada, right? Mr. Canadiana. Let me know what you think. Please give me a thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. Working our way towards 25,000 subscribers. And I'll see you in the next one.